Do you want to intro, or do you want me to do it with
No, I got you, man.
my sexy voice?
Yeah. I think this is a pretty natural intro right here, if I'm being honest. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Me and Volkin are just shooting the shit, getting warmed up off stream like we normally do. It has been some time since we've last done a podcast shooting. Maybe I would say I'm partly responsible for that. I have this bit of a ADHD issue where once I have more than one thing going on, my brain just shuts down and only focuses on that one thing. So Volk hits me up and he says, "Hey mate, you want to do a podcast?" And I'm like, "I'm down, but I'm kind of busy right now. Just let me know." And then he hits me up later on. So essentially what's been happening is I've just been delaying these podcasts off. To be fair though, Wuthering Waves launch, and this can be our opener. The fucking launch has been nothing short of extraordinary in terms of growth potential, viewership, capturing an audience. So like the priority and focus on preparation for it has been immense for me. I don't know if Volkin feels the same way.
Yeah, I think it's also, and like I said to you when we first spoke, you're like, this has been crazy, and I'm like, yeah, it's because your first game launch.
Correct.
Because game launches are always insane from a YouTube aspect. It's nuts, but
yeah, and you're a veteran.
Yeah, and apologies because my voice is shot. It's 4:30 a.m. here, and I only just got up, so we had about a half-hour chat beforehand trying to warm me up, but we'll see how we go. But
Gacha Mates
yeah,
podcast,
honestly,
by the way, I forgot to say the name. Go ahead, Volk.
That's all right. So yeah, it's I mean, Wuthering Waves has been really, really solid so far. I really wish one of us had massive issues with the game so we could have a proper debate about the quality, because I love disagreeing with you, but I think has it been pretty clean for you? Have you had any issues with the game or anything?
I mean, I feel like we got some things we can tackle. I want to have some constructive criticism on some aspects. It hasn't been a perfect roller coaster. There's been some mishaps here and there, but the game has been phenomenal overall. When I say like nitpicks, I'm talking about the dialogue and the English VAs, which I know you're not a story person, so that doesn't bother you any. Me personally, when I go into these gacha games, I always want to give them a fair chance on the story. I always try to like say, okay, here's my attention span. You can have it. But if you fuck it up, you fuck it up for good. And so like I went into it, and the dialogue for the English VAs sounded incredibly monotonous. Like every single line was delivered with the exact same level of volume. I don't know. That's not the word. It's not the correct word. Volume's not the word, but pitch. It's the same level of pitch. Even no matter how the severity of the situation was or what they were talking about. I would go to the park and yes, I'm afraid so. That's what we'll have to do. And I'm just like, I can't do this. I can't do this shit, bro. That is the only real complaint I've had about Wuthering Waves.
That's probably why everyone's loving Scar, because like he's got personality. Like because like I don't watch it, but like as I'm clicking through everything, you can sort of hear little bits, and like that's the kind of gist. But the one thing I will say with dude, I realized if I say it the wrong way, it's a slur. The arrow chick that groups that everyone starts with. What's her name?
Jianshin.
It's the same.
Yang.
Yang. Okay, yeah. I always forget, dude. The names in this game, like I still get stumped. And
well, there's Ling Yang and Yang Yang.
Yeah,
that's way too similar, man. I'll be honest.
And then there's Yin Lin on top of that.
Yeah, Yin Lin, exactly.
And it's like it's just too much for me. But yeah, like with her, what I noticed was when I listened to it, because everyone's like criticizing her voice, and I listened to it, and I'm like, her voice isn't bad. It's just like I can hear microphone sounds. Like it sounds like I'm listening to a podcast when I hear her talk.
That's the girl I was referring to though when I said deliver the same pitch no matter what the dialogue is. Her voice doesn't change. It's not that her voice itself is bad. It's that the pitches when you're like when we're having a conversation, Volk I'm already talking to you with energy. Imagine if I was just like, imagine if I was talking with you with energy. No, how would it go? It's just like you never change, bro. It's like, can we get some like energy in there, or like just basically like deliver it with personality? Now I get it. There's a time and place for that one person who's just straight up. This is the line every time they talk, but that wasn't her personality. That's what threw me off. And then when you switch over to JP, which I know you don't listen to JP at all. JP is it's night and day though, Volk, in terms of delivery of dialogue. And so like that's my nitpick. I'm going ham about it. And I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me on that as well. But apart from that, unless you want to chime in on it some more.
Okay, if we're going for, are we going through our list of negatives
Not really. You know, this, by the way, guys, this is not like scripted. We didn't write anything down. We knew we'd have a lot to talk about, so we're just kind of free falling. Apologies in advance if we're all over the place. We don't have to, but if you want to, we can get into it.
I was just gonna say, because you started off with the VA, which is something like I really don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
There's a few just optimization things and quality of life that I think definitely need implementing. The one that triggers me the most, and I don't know why, like, let me know if this is a bad take. When you go to synthesize something or fuse it, whatever they call it, you know, go from green materials to blue materials to purple materials for like your skills / traces.
The upgrades, the upgrades for the weapon skills and shit. Yeah.
Instead of just opening up the menu for it, it opens up the map and makes you teleport to the place close to the synthesizer machine, and then you've got to run there and do it. That does my head in. Like, there is no reason for it to be that fucking annoying. Yes.
Yeah, it should be on the spot.
Just open it up, boys. Like, no way you're opening up the map. And then that leads me into the next thing, which is, you can't teleport directly to enough things that you want to teleport directly to.
Yeah.
Like when you do the boss fights, like the heron ain't too bad because you're just at the top of the hill. The ape ain't too bad because you're just
absolutely
outside
right.
the room.
I already know where you're going with that.
If you're doing the crownless fight, you gotta run all the way up that hill and then you gotta jump down the hill. Like, just give us some more teleport. Like, now you do have the thing that you unlock where you can put custom teleporter points.
But that's what I was going to tell you.
I feel like bosses, anything you have to interact with regularly, just give us a teleporter right there. Like, just teleport to the thing. Like some of the things, like the trace material, skill level up material farms, like use teleport straight to them.
Yeah.
Like there are some things where you do, but just let us teleport straight to shit, man. I hate it.
And I couldn't agree more with you. But if they don't do that, then they should at the very least take off the finite uses of the teleporter that you can set down, because it's finite and you have to recraft resources for it. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to constantly recraft resources for a fucking teleporter. Like, just like, let me use it. Give me 3 uses out of it, and then I'll just make use of those 3 uses. But I agree. The best alternative absolutely would be to just be able to instant teleport onto things. I don't refute this argument at all. Yeah.
See, with those custom teleporters, like, it's just like, I find that stuff, it's just too tedious for me. And if it's not something based in the game, like I struggle to like just use it. Like, I don't know why that is. Like, I could go to every boss and set one up. I can't remember how many you get to set up, but it's just like, it's not part of the fixed game. So I don't know. It's like something in my head. I just struggle to use them.
What's coming to my mind though, as we're sitting here talking about these negatives, is they're not big negatives. They're not for me. For me, it's just like, I think that goes to speak how good the game actually is. Because we're over here speaking about shit that's like, it's annoying. Don't get me wrong. And I'm big on my quality of life. But like me, I said this from the get-go, and you can go and watch old videos when I was talking about Wuthering Waves, is that I said this game doesn't need to have God tier dialogue to be good. It doesn't. People keep going around saying that shit. A lot of content creators were saying it. I've said from day one, this game does not need a good story for it to succeed. What it needs is good boss fights, good music, good combat, good exploration, good character design, and it will do just fine. And you know what? It's been crushing it in those aspects. What were you getting ready to say? I'm looking at your eyes.
I was gonna say the good music thing, dude. Yeah. Like I've been sitting here like, and when you load it, I feel like every time I load the game up now, it's got like a mini update that you got to like just wait for it.
Yeah.
That home screen track, I love that. Like it's so cool.
I don't even want to spoil. I just finished the story last night, Volk, but that song comes back 18-fold in the story, bro.
Dude, I should have.
I
have confession time. I completed the story on my phone while I was at the gym.
Oh,
so I didn't even have volume on.
Volk, no, you fucking did it, bro.
I mean, the cutscenes were cool, but I was letting the cutscenes go while.
Volk, I swear on everything, it is the most peak fucking SFX soundtrack. It is the most peak OST, bro. It's that song we're talking about. But they take it and they go all out, bro. It's in the boss fight. You get the headphones on, you're fucking jamming, bro.
Dude, I might have to do like a story playthrough account eventually, but
oh my god.
The thing with that was the thing that I liked about it was I'm trying to do it without spoiling much.
Yeah.
The way they kind of made the gameplay of that final boss fight feel like it was sort of cinematic as well.
Yeah, God of War type boss fight.
Because then you like block the attacks and then you're in permanent dragon form with Gian. Like it was like, and then like it had like the prompts to like click this, you swap in, and then it's like cinematic / combat.
Yeah.
And I feel like in these kinds of games, that's the way story combat should be. Like, and I'm saying this, I enjoyed it. I was doing it on my phone at the gym, but like I could still appreciate the way they delivered it, even though it's something I don't overly care about. But yeah, I feel like because that takes me back to like I used to love story in Halo.
Yeah.
Because the way Halo delivered story was, it would all happen while you were playing the game.
Yeah.
There was no stand there and look at two JPEGs talking to each other.
That's the definition of immersiveness. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. And I just think the way they did that last fight, where the fight felt cinematic, was a really cool way to do it.
I couldn't agree more. And I know you've never played God of War, Volk, but that is what God of War is.
I did. Listen, I played a bunch of games back when we had the chipped PlayStations,
growing up.
Yeah. And I used to work at Macca's on a Sunday morning and go straight from there to the market, and we used to buy them. But like, I think I was like a year into that when they shut it all down and like you couldn't buy them anymore. But yeah, the one thing I remember from God of War was playing, I think it was the first God of War or maybe two.
In the bed with the titties.
And you like second level, you wake up in bed with all the chicks and then you can bang them and then you get all the extra currency, whatever it was. That's my defining memory of God of War. Like,
I think that's every guy's defining memory because like you just don't see that in a game. You're like, what the fuck, bro? You sleeping with women?
Yeah, I was just like, what the hell?
The definition so that bro is the original Giga Chad. Like it doesn't get more Giga Chad than that. Nah.
Yeah,
but going back to it. No, go ahead. Go
ahead. No, I was just gonna say I couldn't tell you like any of the fights. All I remember from God of War was that scene.
Yeah.
And then on the Medusa map, like the game bugging out and I couldn't progress anymore. Like those are the two. My probably because it was a burnt game, but like those are my two defining memories.
Yeah. So like for me, it's just like that's. And it's going to tie back into Wuthering Waves. It's the cinematic fights as you're going through the story. You get out of bed, you get done banging the chicks or whatever, then you go straight into war, and then there's this big ice golem, and you fight it, right? But then once you kill it, it then goes into transitions to a cutscene where he's giving them a Mortal Kombat finish. And it's like, it's immersive because it's happening while you're playing. It's like, oh my God, this is what's happening, bro. It's like you're in the movie. You're participating in the movie. And that fight on Wuthering Waves at the end, Wuthering Waves devs, if you're listening to this, we need more of that because that was so good. Volk, I am so fucking disappointed that you did that at the gym. I swear, I'm telling you, Volk, you have to take my word for this. You have to do it again because that fight, I just did it last night, so I do have a bit of recency bias, right? I'm still coming off of it. The music with the headphones on is fucking everything. And then like you're seeing it happen with the music because all the SFX is like in your ear. Gian coming out of nowhere every time to support, it's just like, holy shit, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice, man. I'm telling you, I loved it. That's my favorite part of the story. That redeemed the entirety of the story. Fuck the dialogue and those little dry spots. That was everything.
See, my problem is I'll probably do a story playthrough and then I'll see the skip button now on main story and I'll be like, hey, like, I can't help it.
But you get there much faster. Speaking of which, I think we should dive right into that. Skip function in a gacha game. My God. About goddamn time, a developer woke up, pulled their head out of their asses, and realized not everybody should be forced to do story they don't want to do.
To be fair, they only pulled their head out of their ass after all the issues from launch.
That's fair. But like, and you know what? No. You know what? Let's be fair here because sometimes you gotta bring the reins in on me because sometimes I can go over optimistic on it. You're right. You're absolutely right. What I will say though is they have a track record of listening to the community based off of everything. But to play devil's advocate, they are also trying to be on top. So, of course, it's like, listen until we don't have to listen. That is a concern.
So, because the thing that got me in the beta was they said, like one of their big key points that they made was that there's a skip button added.
Yeah.
And so in the beta, I was like, yes. And then there was no skip button on main story. And I'm like, okay, surely this is just a until launch. And then you get in there at launch and there's no skip button. And I'm like, you cheeky motherfuckers. You're just doing the Hoyo thing, trying to make people obsessed with your stuff. I don't give a fuck. I just want to skip, guys. Let me grind.
And I want to talk about that, man. It's like everybody, I was talking to my chat about this last night, Volk. Everybody, when they design these games, they're putting a variable and an aspect inside of the game that is designed to capture a certain audience. You know what I mean? The combat, the hardcore text that they poured their heart and soul into, that's clearly for the hardcore audience. There's text in this game that the casual is never, ever, 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 ever going to discover or care to discover. That's not for them. That's for us. The story, that is for the goddamn Hoyo Cuck. That's what it's for. It's for these people that have came along and blew up Genshin because they're so obsessed with that dynamic of storytelling. I hate it. I can't stand it. That's why there should be a skip button for that, because there's a skip button for the in-game content. It's just not a skip button. They just don't have to do it. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a skip button for a lot of dynamics for a lot of people, depending on what they're going for. There's a skip button for character aesthetics. It's just not there. You just say, yeah, I don't like that character. You actually have the option to skip a lot of different aspects in the game. You do not have the option to skip a story until Wuthering Waves. And that's my biggest thing, but I don't know if you want to chime in on it. You look like you have something you want to say.
Even the main story I would let slide. When you've got that what's his face?
Take your time, man.
Tiger Boy, what's his name?
Oh, Ling Yang.
Dude, these Lings and Yangs and Lins and Yins.
I know, man.
Like,
I already know. You know what's funny though? I'm pretty sure it's very there's probably a big amount of discrepancy in the names in Chinese. In actual Chinese, it's probably like big. Oh yeah,
100%.
But over here in America, it just sounds like I'm saying, "Hey Jay, hey Bay, hey May." It's like, "Hey Devin, hey Kevin, hey Kevin." It's like, bro, damn, man.
It's so bad. But yeah, his side quest not being skippable. Holy, that thing takes like 2 hours.
Yeah, it does.
And it's like no gameplay. All talking shit, and I care zero about anything being said.
The little side scroller was cool. I enjoyed it when you're like going into like rogue mode.
That wasn't too bad.
That was pretty cool, man. I liked it, and there was some dialogue in there that I also appreciated. But yeah, there's a lot of like, go to this NPC and yap, go to this NPC and yap, go to this NPC and yap. It wasn't until that last part where they had that big cutscene where I was like, this is nice. This is a nice little finisher. I don't know about you. I enjoyed that 1.5-minute cutscene because I'm used to Honkai Star Rail's 3-second cutscenes from a small indie company.
Dude, anytime I see a cutscene, that's when I put my phone in my pocket.
See, here's the different dynamics right here, bro.
Yeah, it's like that's perfect time that I'm not wasting time watching this. I can do something else.
Bro, you're fucking hilarious, bro. But I get it though, man. But it goes back to that skip button. It's everybody should have the freedom to say, this is not how I choose to spend my time. This is not why I'm playing your game either. I'm not playing your game for this. And to take away that autonomy and force people to fucking listen to the dialogue, it is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. It's like, what a good way to tell a certain audience you could have captured to fuck off.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, damn, bro.
I'd be curious. I'm gonna have to do a poll to see how many people. Like, I'm curious on how many people like get in depth. Like, how many people want to skip story. Yeah, like I'm so curious on that because I feel like I am part of the minority. I feel like everyone I know who's also like a real like loves game, like the sweaty type players. They still want to watch the story.
So I'm the same way.
I want to know what's going on, but I just don't want to watch JPEGs talking. Like, it's like if I could have like a full understanding of the story and just watch cutscenes, that's my sweet spot.
Yeah, I know, Volkin. We touched up on this topic in a previous pod. What it is, I'm telling you, and I think I brought it up in a previous pod. You got to play Final Fantasy 7 because then you'll understand that's the way stories should be told. But it goes back to what we said in the gacha genre. I think that's just too high expectations. You just can't expect it.
100%.
You know what I mean? It's just you can't expect them to deliver that level of story quality.
Their summon systems first and then story second.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, lower the expectations and know the genre that you're in, I suppose. I don't agree with that. I really don't. Because I always look at their on paper, what their finances are looking like, how much they have. I can't think of the damn terminology for it. It's in finances, it's terminology. But when I look at that, I'm like,
the
bro,
balance sheet?
You would call it a balance sheet. There's another word for it. But either way, when I look at that, I'm like, y'all got the money. You do. Maybe it's a time thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But, dude, I like, for those that don't know, I've like, since I got back from America, which was like 3 weeks
he's
ago.
struggling over here.
I got sick and now I've had this like annoying throat cold for like 3 weeks and it's absolutely doing my fucking head in. But yeah, I don't want to get too hung up on the story because like that was fine. One thing. But what about general gameplay? Like combat, all that stuff.
It is everything that I expected it to be. Did it exceed expectations? Yes, it did. The swap cancel shit has been blowing my mind. The fact I have this, basically Rover, I literally said this throughout the playthrough. I said, man, Rover's dog shit. This character feels horrible. Like there's nothing about her kit that's good or satisfying. But when I want to say 8 hours, maybe 12 hours into the game, I'm like, holy shit, bro, I think Rover might be one of my favorite characters. There's this hidden tech there where if you just wait for her to shine, she can then do this one move that fills her forte circuit up. It's like, I started discovering stuff about her. I was like, oh my God. So that I love. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Because with the Rover, you can do tap, wait for the cloud, then tap to do the explosion. Or I found you can do tap, hold tap, and it's sort of like you avoid the timing issue.
It's a basic attack, and then once she throws the little spinning fucking thing, her chest literally
has a cloud.
It has a little cloud. You time it, you press the basic attack with that. That is actually the only way you should be playing her because it gives you a whole forte circuit gauge, and then you're able to then go into the skill. Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure, like, I haven't played her too much, but you can do instead of tap, wait and get the timing, you can do tap, hold, and it does the same function.
Well, that's it's heavy attack. Her heavy attack has the same exact function. Yeah, so you do a heavy attack, she jumps back, throws the fling, and then you just go into it. But it's shit like that I love.
Yeah, to be fair, like once you unlock the Havoc one, ain't no way I'm playing the Spectro again.
I'll be honest,
like the Havoc's too cool.
I still love Spectro. But I completely understand you, bro. Like that shit is so slash dash, super dicey, super clean and crisp. Like, oh my God, bro. She turns into an absolute full blown like kunai. Is that the word I'm looking for? Kunoichi is what I'm talking about. Anyways, it's weeb. I know Volkin, it's out of your territory.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, that's past me.
It's just basically the most edgy shit. She's way more edgy. That's pretty much what is enjoyable. And Volk, you're the same person as me. You love badass shit. And that is it just upgrades her terms of coolness, I guess, so to speak.
Now I did get a lot of hate in the comments.
What happened?
For saying, because I had the female one. And I was just like, I feel like the male one's going to look corny with this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. If they're crying about that, tell them to shut the fuck up, bro.
But to be fair, he does look pretty cool. I just think that the male MC in general, he just looks generic. I don't know. Generic. The problem is when you've got Gian and Calcharo in the game.
Yeah.
And then that's your main character.
He looks lame.
Yeah, that's my problem.
It's generic. That's it. There's nothing about him that sticks out. Nothing.
The other thing with him is I feel like the theme, and this is like I normally go male characters because if I am going through any story or something and I'm meant to be looking at it from my perspective, I can't play as a female character because then it kills that whole trying to immerse in a thing factor. But in the beta, he felt so clunky. Like his animations just felt stiff, I think would be the word. And then when I watch people play the female, I'm like, oh, she looks like real smooth. There's just a different feel in the play of the character. But
I think that is the best MC I've seen in any gacha game. The female MC of Wuthering Waves. She looks so fucking good. Like the design of her outfit is a mixture of a fine ass bitch mixed in with a ninja. it's like a ninja slash. Oh, but we can still make you appreciate how she looks too, and it's like you're satisfying the edgy side, the weebs, and they're satisfying people who like to just look at them and appreciate the beauty. I was like, oh my god, this is beautifully done. Like the design is just gorgeous, and the color two-tone aesthetic. I love that, bro. What they're doing with the hair, I was like a Wuthering Wave signature. So if you look at all these Wuthering Jianshin, all of their characters that look good have this color two-tone hair where they have black and then they have white on the inside. The Rover has it as well. Some of the characters that were red white, like Camellia, holy shit, that's a big bug.
Like
it's on the outside of my window. It's on the outside of my window. But they have this two-tone color hair, and it's like their print on their game. It just looks so good.
Yeah, like Scar. Scar's got the white, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. But he only has white hair. Jianshin has black hair.
Doesn't he have red in it?
You know what? He has a. Okay, I guess you're right. He does have red. He has like a fucking slither of red hair, does he? I don't know. Let me look that up while you're talking. Go ahead while you're talking. I'll look it up. But Jianshin is the best
hair
example.
Isn't the main thing I look at. Yeah, Jianshin's just cool.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the Jianshin's another example for me of a character that just they do combat animations so well that the character feels cool based on just pure like the movement of that character. And for me, because I used to love playing a Windwalker monk in WoW, so when I saw her, I was like, this is just too cool. Like I just love that whole feel.
Diablo 3 is where I played the monk. The Diablo 3 is where I played the monk.
Okay.
Did you play Diablo 3 at all, Volk, or no?
No, I was WoW. Like that was like a 7-8 year period of only playing WoW.
Okay, well, either way, the monk playstyle is always so satisfying. One, because the orbs and the way they do things just look so majestic and like elegant. And then two, it's just satisfying, like, dude, like putting hands on people.
Like when she does the basic attack chain, and then you get the orbs that come out, and it's like it's just so cool.
It's I'm telling you, me and you got the same taste, Volk. We got the same exact taste, man. Okay, hold on. Let me see if we can go to scenes here. Pull this up. This is what I'm talking about. The two-tone color hair, bro. See that white on the inside? They do that a lot with their characters. Rover has the same thing. Obviously, that's a shorter hairstyle, but she has white on the inside here. And then Scar, like you mentioned, he has some red here. But a lot of their characters, some of the villains, like Camellia, she's got the same thing going, except it's red and white. And then some black in there. But I don't see a lot of games doing this as much or as well. They do it, but not as well as Kudo Games is doing it. So kudos to them. Unintended.
The one thing I want to say is I feel like their characters need more saturation. Because like with Jianshin.
Wait. Did you turn the brightness all the way down to 0?
What?
Did you turn the brightness in the game all the way down to 0?
No, I won't.
It's a thing. No, Volk. It's a thing. It's a thing. It's going viral in the community. The game looks way better. I'm gonna make a short out of it. That's how crazy it looks.
So you put it down.
Turn it all the way down to 0. Watch how much better your game looks. I swear. You should do it right now while we're talking, bro. But like, it's just to see a fresh reaction, bro.
Dude,
do it when you get off stream. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? This is crazy.
So what? It fixed like the saturation.
Correct. And the contrast looks so much better on all the characters. I'm pretty sure I ended up screenshotting something too. But you wouldn't be able to tell unless I showed you what it looks like without it.
Yeah, side by side. But yeah, it's like, because my thing was like Jianshin, like she just looks a bit bland. And then like I did my thumbnail with her image and I saturated the fuck out of it. And then like the green in her outfit starts to pop and stuff. And I'm like, this is what the characters should look like. Yeah. Like it's just too washed.
I gotta pull this up, Volk. You gotta see it, bro. Like I'm telling you, it's crazy. Okay, so I got something here that'll be able to show you this. Let me pull that out the way. Here you go. And then let's pull this up. You see that?
Yeah.
Now look at this.
Oh, dude.
That's insane, right? I was just like,
that's more contrast than saturation, but that's good, and like that's what you need. That's
100%. And it's not just the character,
because it takes the glare off of it.
Correct,
like the washed glare.
And when you look at the world, it's not just the character. Volk, I swear to God, the trees, their shadows start popping. The sky shadows start, like the whole goddamn world just comes alive. But
yeah,
it blew me away because somebody came in chat and just dropped it on me like it was just regular information. He was like, hey man, have you did the zero brightness setting? I was like, no, what the fuck is that? He's like, dude, you should try it. It should change my life, bro.
I need to stream to find these things out.
Yeah. Anyways, the Wuthering Waves has been crazy, man. And obviously, that's a perfect topic to go into it. It's not a perfect game, and I feel like they're learning as they're on the job. Because there's just a lot of things that are clearly not intentional. Like when they put out the free 5-star selector, you couldn't even use it at first. And then like 30 minutes later,
because they opened it up and then it came in. Like I like 8 people messaged me on Discord. They're like, "How do I use this?" I didn't even see it at that time.
Yeah.
And then by the time I saw it all, I'm like, dude, it's in your mail. What the fuck? Like, just you open your eyes. They're like, no, it wasn't there. It wasn't there.
But I'm saying, like, it's so clear to me that they're making a lot of mistakes, and they're baby mistakes. But those mistakes tell me that they're learning on the job rapidly, and like they're not ready for all this exposure that's happening.
To be fair,
they said they've been out for 10 years.
Unless I've got my information wrong,
they said they've been out of the company for 10 years. I remember hearing this.
Punishing Grey Raven, and someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong here, but I remember this from when I was playing Punishing Grey Raven. It got received horribly in China at launch, and to compensate, they gave a free character selector.
Oh, so you feel like they had to meet that standard?
Well, yeah, I don't know whether that was like, but like, they've done it before.
Okay,
so like. It's like and it depends how you want to look at it. Some people are looking at it like, oh, you know, this is a conspiracy. They were always going to do this. And like, that's not the way I look at it. It's just like, I look at it as preemptive for, they know if the Chinese community shits on them, they're going to get rewards. So it's like, does that mean like Chinese is going to shit on every one of their games just to get an extra free selector?
Damn,
like,
bro. That would be insane, man. And you know what's crazy, man? That's another conversation that can get pretty political, which we don't have to touch up on it because you know how dumb the internet is. But basically what I've heard, Volk, is the China 1%, loud 1%, they actually are quite significant with regards to how games shift their dynamics. Like if they bitch enough, they do change. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've heard similar things about it. And it's similar. And what shipped me with Kuro originally was in Punishing Grey Raven.
Yeah.
When the game had been out in CN for so long, they had like an auto function for your farming and stuff like that.
Right.
But then they wouldn't give Global really those types of features until the point at which they were released in CN's like game lifespan. Because it would piss off the CN players.
Bro, that is so wild to me.
So I don't know how true that is. But like they had auto in CN, Global launched, we didn't get the quality of life stuff. And I was like, this is just killing me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, there is a very strong thing.
You know what?
With the Chinese community and the games, but because you're not over there, you don't like. I don't know exactly how deep it is, but yeah for CN developers with CN games, it's there's some sort of dynamic going on.
Well, what I was going to say is obviously there's a revenue split when they get income from anywhere outside of China, right? Like due to how that works with foreign exchange. But CN revenue is CN revenue. That's theirs 100%, right? Not only that, it's also compounded on top of just how big China's volume is. China's volume is insane. So like it's from a fundamental perspective, they're bringing them the biggest bag too. So it's almost like they have to be submissive.
Business, yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't have a choice because like that's where their bag is. It's insane.
Yeah. Can I just say something though?
Yeah. Go for it. I know you well enough now that I know a joke's coming.
Yeah.
I know you well enough now.
They've given us all these free characters.
Yeah.
But we're only getting one free weapon. What the fuck's up with that?
Dude, that's actually so true, man.
Like maybe we might need a few extra free weapons to match these characters, you know?
To be fair though, like they're already blowing, because I know you're just pulling their leg there, right? But like we have to go back to the baseline of comparing to the competitor, and it's like, dude, they're already doing so much better than the competitor. It's insane. Like being able to buy monthly resources for the weapon banner is insane.
That's huge.
Yeah, I saw that.
Another one, another massive one.
Yeah.
Another massive one. And this is a whole video. I'm actually going to try and get EO on for a collab on this topic because he's a big one on this type of topic in Star Rail. The standard banner pools being used on weapon select pools. on like the standard weapon selector. So once you get through your beginner banner and your select banner,
you can just use
these normal pools. Do you use them to get a random one of the base 5-star characters, or do you use them to get weapons that you can choose which weapon, so then you can fill out your weapon roster, or you can go deep on one of those standard banner weapons and get dupes into it, so then it has outperformance, which then can benefit the future power crept characters without you having to summon on exclusive weapons and stuff like that. I'm like, that system,
that's a game changer.
That was the big thing in summons that was huge. The select weapon banner that uses standard pools.
Well, it creates ultimately a balance for budget and free-to-play players, people who are not whales. It creates a way for them to still be able to play the game, be rewarded for playing the game, even though they're not spending as much money. It's basically like to combat the pay-to-win gacha dynamic, which is beautiful. The
one thing I will say, that you mentioned the monthly shop, it's like 38 days left. I don't know how long that shop lasts, or when it refresh, like
38
the general
days?
timing.
Oh, so it's not a month.
Yeah, I looked at it. I'm like, how often is this? This better not be too long.
Yeah, bro. Do the pump? You gotta watch out for them gacha pump fakes, bro. Like, you ain't lying. They be having some sneaky pump fakes. We're like, oh my god, we're getting this, and then like 6 months into the game, you're like, wait,
it's like everyone's like, oh my god, you can buy dupes in the shop. You've only got to do 9,000 summons to get it.
That's so true. Yeah. And you got
like,
some
I
options.
look at it, but I look at everything from a free to play lens. So like, but for a spender, like even though it's expensive, like you can get that. But for me, I'm like, dude, I'm just buying summons anyway. I ain't gonna buy a dupe from there for that many summons cost. Right. It is what it is.
You know what's funny?
But having the option's good.
No, for sure. And I was gonna say, this is I'm completely taking this left field, just a vent about dumb fucks as I love to do. The free to play announcement that I made, I never seen so many gacha brain rot morons defending people. I mean, defending gacha companies who have predatory business models that of the gambling model. They were mad that I was going free to play for Wuthering Waves. They were like,
because you're not supporting the game.
I'm not supporting the game, Vogue.
Bro, dude's making he's streaming 9 hours a day. He's supporting the fuck out of the game.
Vogue, and it's just like, it's so apparent to me. I'm like, wow. Somebody tell these fucking 15-year-olds to take a business class and a marketing class. Why do you think we get paid so much for sponsorships, bro? How do you think they're making their money? It's like, holy, bro. I was so flabbergasted. I was completely baffled. I was like, these dumb motherfuckers are so unintelligent. They don't know that we're bringing them 100x what we're getting. It's like, I didn't know how else to even respond to that. I was just like, there's no reasoning with that. I was just like, if they don't have the common sense to understand our support is our marketing, I can't reason with that individual. I just can't.
I mean, I personally don't care. If people see me as not supporting a company, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Like, I'm just playing a game. I'm just someone playing a game. Like, you know, who cares?
You know what? Fundamentally, you're absolutely right. Again, goes back to having your right. It's not your job to keep the company afloat. That's the company's job. And even though we
fucking Kuro should have paid me sponsorships.
That's what I'm yeah, that's what I'm trying to like. Even though we 100% are supporting them, whether these dumb fucks realize it or not, we're carrying their game so hard in terms of hype, in terms of informing people how to play the game, whether the game's worth it. Put all of that aside, none of that is actually our actual responsibility. It's our goal is to do one thing: play a game we like. That's it. That's our only responsibility you have, and you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. So it's like that trips me out that they were defending that, and there's so many facets you can go into the idiocy of it. I'm just like,
I do think as well, like, once again, you got to remember, like, the ones you see are the vocal ones. Like, I just, with that kind of shit, I look at video.
Yeah, it's point
if I'm getting a couple comments and I'm still at 98% like ratio, 99% like ratio, like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And it's like, you do get those people, but there is just some, like, at the end of the day, some people are insecure about their decisions and they want justification for it. And like, they look externally for justification. I mean, it is what it is.
It always goes back to our favorite conversation. Where you're like, who gives a fuck, just smack, and I'm like, well, I give because you gotta talk to people. We always go back to that conversation, man. Yeah, you're right. At the end of the day, that was just a vent for me. I couldn't believe that. I was just like, wow, like, do they not understand how marketing works, bro? That's so wild. Furthermore, me and you are giving $500 giveaways to the community to spend money on the gacha game. I was just like, okay, I rest my case. But getting off of that, going back into the positives of Wuthering Waves. combat.
Before we do that, just quickly, I wanted to say I'm really looking forward to your free-to-play playthrough, and if you stay free-to-play as well.
Yeah.
Because like my thing about free-to-play that I absolutely love is you understand your limitations and you play to those limitations.
Yes.
And that is why I can never spend in a game. And when I spend like AFK Journey, I spent $300 on an account, made one video, played it for one day and quit because it's just like your limitations are gone. You're not playing on on a playing field that you can understand because it's like, okay, I hit this wall. Well, I'll just spend and get that. And that's why I fundamentally love playing these games free to play because you've got a set rule standard that you're playing to.
It's like
that's what I enjoy. Yeah.
Volk, it's like the rich. It's like the rich person who's never had to work for their life and they're depressed. They're depressed because it's like they everything they've done is pay to win. So it's like there's no fulfillment. It's no purpose. I think fundamentally that's what it boils down to, and that's the best way to describe what you're saying. And it's enjoyable. Go ahead.
And the big one I always bring up when I talk about free to play versus pay to win, or free to play versus spending, is when you summon as free to play and you get something. Oh yeah, it's like exciting. Whereas when you're spending, it's relief that you got it. Instead of having to go to a full pity or something. Yeah. So it's like excitement versus relief, and it is just a completely different dynamic.
Well, like I again go back to real life. Rich parent gives their kid a Range Rover, bro crashes that shit, doesn't care about it, doesn't see the value. A poor kid or working kid works hard, buys a car, takes care of it for the next 10 years. Why? Because he appreciated that car big time, bro. He worked hard as shit for that car, man. You know, it's way more valuable. And so like going back into the video game, it's like you worked all that time. You know the cost of those wishes that you have. You know, once you use them, you got to take a long time to get them back, bro. Yeah. I feel like that's the best way, the best reference point I can go to. But hey, maybe I'm waffling.
No, it's good. Sorry, you get onto your topic. I forgot. I cut you off there.
So I just wanted to get back to more pros with Wuthering Waves. I think the world is. Oh, you know what? Before we even go into that, hot take. I think Wuthering Waves has better graphics than Genshin Impact.
I can't really comment because I never really played.
I hear you. Well, you played Honkai.
The only thing I know from seeing Genshin stuff is like it, like, and this may change for me with this zero brightness. Yeah. But it just like when you watch videos of Genshin, and same with Star Rail, it just pops. Yeah. Like it really pops. Whereas Wuthering Waves for me at the moment is just flushed out. But I got to play for a day with that zero. Yeah,
and that's fine. If you even if you still end up disagreeing, that's fine. Me personally though, and I don't know if my chat was just being an echo chamber, but like we all came to the same agreement that its graphics are absolutely like blown away. But you've been playing on mobile a lot. We've been playing on PC, and they've been watching me play all my fucking 4K ass.
Oh, don't get wrong. I've probably spent like 60 hours on PC as well. Okay, but I just my problem is like when I'm in the grind of a new game, I never put it down. Yeah, like it doesn't stop being played.
I get it. Well, that's one thing I wanted to touch up on. The other thing I want to touch up on is the puzzles have been relatively fucking fun for me.
There was one that absolutely destroyed me.
Oh, is it the one where you have to take the blocks and put them into that blue thing?
Not put them into the blue thing. There's one on the ground, and you've got the blocks that have the direction, and you've got to fill it out.
That's it.
And there was this one, the one area where it's like one block's up here, one block's there. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, I thought the trouble was going to be finding the blocks, but no, the trouble is putting the blocks in because I cannot make this work.
That's the one puzzle that's just an absolute fucking like sore thumb, bro.
But to be fair, it was super satisfying after 3 hours when I finally got it.
So, Volk, I'm actually a master at that puzzle. You want to know why? Because I spent 3 hours doing it in the closed beta, bro. I was like, oh, I remember this fucking puzzle. So I already knew the like concept of it. But no, dude, the little sprint through the hula hoops with the little echo, butterfly echo.
Okay, the butterfly echo, that is something that can only, if anyone is a phone player and actually manages to clear any one of those, I have no idea. I tried doing that on my phone. I did the same one 6 times. I wasn't even getting close. Jumped on my PC. Yeah, straight through it.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that sprint button, bro. That sprint button, motherfucker, really puts some people. He really has he runs that Pokeball when you put that fucking sprint button on him, bro. He has 195 speed. Fuck. I didn't know at first. I was just holding down W because I didn't know it was sprint. I was holding down the whole time. I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Then I realized, I was like, oh, okay, that's a sprint. Anyways, I thought that was really fun. The game where you have to shoot the targets, I think that's really fun too.
Before you jerk off the gun game,
Yeah.
that is only good because I'm assuming you have more Tefi in your team, do you?
I don't. Oh, wait, you're talking about... Yeah, I do have more Tefi. I'm sorry. You're talking about the other gun game where you have to shoot the fuckers in the sky. That shit's annoying.
Yes. That was the worst. If you, like, in beta, I didn't have a gun character in my team.
Yeah.
And every time one of those came out, you'd press it, and then you're like, oh, shit, I got to change my team. And then you go to team, and you swap them in, and then you go to shoot them, and then you swap them back. That was so annoying. Because I run more Tefi, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about the big cannon one.
I'm talking about the big cannon one. That one was really fun. But you're right. I can easily see that one being a pain in the ass. But if you don't have more Tefi, you just switch out to the Amber of Wuthering Waves. You just switch out the chicks.
Yeah, no, but it's still the going into your team menu, swapping over.
Oh, like that's a cringe.
You should have like a default ranged character
already
where
have
you
more
click
Tefi.
those and it swaps.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. I mean, yeah. But other than that, though, Volk, I think the game's been fucking phenomenal. I'm addicted. I'll be honest. That's why I've been doing 10-hour streams.
We got to talk about combat because that's like something we haven't really dived into yet, which is like a core part of the game. Now, like you said, like what you were like you said, like exceeded your. Did you say exceeded or did you say
it met them? And then when I discovered the swap mechs where somebody stays on the field, lingers there for a bit and does some moves, and then you can swap back and finish off a continuation of a combo. When I discovered that, the potential of the combat system almost seemed limitless, and that blew me out of the fucking water. As well as the hidden text that some characters have. I was just like, wow, wait, this is giving me Monster Hunter vibes now, where I thought I mastered the game, but it seems there's always something new to learn. That was the exceeded expectations variable.
Yeah, see, for me, I think the combat is great, but I didn't get as excited because I'd been playing solo leveling, and as bad as the loading screens, the daily routine, as bad as so many systems are in that game, the combat is great.
Wow.
And it has the same thing. It has swap canceling. It has a lot of cool combos you can do. So, like, I was in the mode of a game with really fun combat already.
That's a big compliment.
And the thing that killed me...
That's a huge compliment.
Yeah, and the thing with that game was the thing that killed me when I started playing Wuthering Waves. That game spacebar was dodged because you couldn't jump in that game. Dude, the amount of times when I started in the first like 6 hours where I was getting hit because I was jumping instead of dodging, dude, like your brain takes so it takes so long to get used to that. But yeah.
I was just gonna say, I would like to say that again. Then you made me think I needed to give Wuthering Waves a spin sometime because, like, I mean, not Wuthering Waves, solo leveling. Because if you're saying the combat is that kind of good, damn, I never would have expected that from an IP that follows a anime. Well,
dude, solo leveling, the problem is you get infinite loading screens, which kills the immersion.
Yeah,
the daily routine takes you like an hour or 2 hours if you're trying to optimize it. And it's like dog shit Netmarble events and stuff. It's got so much bad, but like the core game of the story playthrough in that game, the way they re-deliver, like, because I've read the manhwa, I've watched the anime, but then the way they re-deliver it in a different format in the game was fantastic. And like, I'm not a story person, and I'm normally definitely not a story person on an anime IP game.
Right.
But this one, it was like, because it was another unique way of looking at it. And they had the voice actors in it as well from the English voice acting. It was really cool. But yeah, the combat, really, really cool. And they got two different ways to play. I'm not going to turn this into a whole talk on it.
You're okay, man. I think this is important.
I think it's worth a play. But once again, all the other core fundamentals will destroy it for most people.
Yeah.
But like the actual gameplay and story in it, pretty sick.
Volk, this is the goddamn Gacha cast. We want to talk about some extra Gacha games. We can, shit. But yeah, boiling it back in, you said that kind of like lowered the excitement for you for Wuthering Waves because the combat for what's it called was so good, solo leveling.
Well, yeah, and the thing with Wuthering Waves is, it's honestly like I would say when I compare solo leveling to Wuthering Waves, solo leveling was a bit more direct on how you were meant to play a team and play your characters.
Yeah.
Whereas Wuthering Waves, it takes you a bit to get used to the rotational of like 3 characters. Now, if you go into CN, you look at Billy, you got these motherfuckers doing 9-12 rotations between burst windows, which is just fucking insane.
I need to look at that because I haven't seen anything.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like I was looking, because the boys of Pride when talk about like like when they're theory crafting and stuff like that, and there was like this one screenshot I saw of a Billy video where the guy's got his like rotation between burst windows and it's like taking up the whole screen, and I'm like, there is no shot, dude. Like I'm still firmly in the comfortable boomer phase of the game
what the fuck?
where I just like doing one character to full concerto, like DPS into healer.
Yeah.
Into Mortefi, back into Gian.
Absolutely.
Like that's the way I roll. Like it's just a comfortable, easy way to do it.
There's
Maybe
nothing
once
wrong
I
with
start trying to get super sweaty in the Tower of Adversity, that may change.
Yeah.
Like if you're actually like, oh dude, I'm like fucking a couple DPS away from clearing this boss. That's when you do the sweaty things where you're swapping back to your DPS in between without triggering the outro skill so that you can get the extra energy from one extra skill, then swap back to the healer, then swap back into the Mortefi, then go like I think there will be that thing, but I also think, or I could just wait till I level up and then clear it. So we'll have to see. I have not played much Tower of Adversity at all. I've just been grinding the world is where I'm at.
You're putting it in my brain, the value of in-game though. Like for me, I can only speak for myself. The reason I love in-game so much is because that is when it forces me to learn to master the game. It's like I run into this wall and I'm like, okay, I have to learn these other hidden texts now, because if I don't, then I'm a scrub, and I'll be damned if I'm a fucking scrub. And so I'm forced to learn everything. It happens in every game I play. It happened in Honkai Star Rail, where I was like, damn, I thought I knew how to play the game. No, I don't. Okay, now I got to learn how to play the game for real.
Yeah.
The end game of it. So I'm looking forward to that, because right now, Volk, I think what you said, you were going at 100 miles per hour and you were making sense the entire time.
I didn't even make my main point. My main point was that when you play Wuthering Waves as well, like I said, it's tough getting into it once you got your team rotation sorted. Then it's like energy regeneration is such a big thing for making your team feel good or making it feel absolutely shit.
Correct.
Because and if you're anyone playing and you're like, my team doesn't feel comfortable, just slap an energy regen on your character and it might fix it. Because having the right energy so that if you are playing the boomer way of one character into the next, that when you come back, you get your ultimate, as opposed to not getting your ultimate, it completely changes the feel of a character, especially on your main DPS.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah, because when you come back to them and their ult is not up, you're just sitting there with the question mark on your fucking head. You're like, what do I do now?
Although props to them, I do think they did buff energy regeneration from the beta, where back in beta, I believe it was 30% of any base energy. This is outside of any bonuses that they get from gear, but 30% of base energy from any character would go to the other characters. I think they upped it to 50%, which does alleviate a lot of the energy regen issues that you get. Now you can get it through a couple substats and be set. But like as a new player jumping in with 0 energy regen, like you can feel real crippled by that.
And I think build has a lot to play with that as well, because when you get more into the end game, then you start getting those substat rolls with energy recharge and shit. I think what the goal of this is, make sure you're building energy recharge into your teams and like not thinking you don't need it, because you will need it. But I wanted to go back to when you were going 100 miles per hour. I think it's important that what you said, whereas right now I'm not worried about doing all this swap, tech, all this fucking insanely hardcore sweaty gameplay. You said I just like the casual aspect of use my character skill, swap them out, use that character skill and swap them out, so on and so forth. I think that adds to what I was telling you about this combat system exceeded my expectations. It's the fact that it's so multifaceted and complex to the degree where you can do a very casual level of gameplay and still progress through. Or if you want that hardcore experience that separates you from the casual, that is there too. And to be able to pull that off is not easy, Volk. As a developer, like saying, we have to make a combat system to where the casual still enjoys it and the hardcore player still enjoys it. Bro, that's a hell of a fucking objective to tackle.
And so that's where I'm not sure if it is going to meet it once you're max level. Like I'm really, we need to get there, but once you're max level and well geared,
I feel like the hardcore player takes the backseat every time.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how hard the Tower of Adversity is, because at the end of the day, that's your recurring income source. So they can't make it too hard for players. Like they do have hologram bosses, but I think it was Fob who posted a picture where he's like almost cleared max difficulty on 2 of them with like just a level 60 dungeon. And
he's a whale though, right?
Huh?
He's a whale.
He's a whale, but he's using a level 60 dungeon solo for the bosses. So
okay, I got you.
Yeah, but yeah, like I'm curious to see that balance. But once again, that's what I loved about Star Rail was when the game, and that was like my favorite window of Star Rail at launch, when everyone's like level 60 character levels trying to clear MOC 10.
Oh yeah, correct. You have to figure it out.
That was when you needed Yang Qing because you needed damage, but you also needed to control the bosses. Like that, there was a one period where Yang Qing was like S tier.
Yeah,
and I remember looking back at that tier list, and I was like, wow, that is crazy. But like,
he was the top
I
of the
love
charts.
those, and for me, I love that phase of having to sweat and like optimize. But I personally prefer it more in strategy games.
Yeah.
Because I just know I'm not as good at actually, because the one thing I think people are forgetting, like I can get good at like in these action games, I can get good at one character, one team.
Right.
Like I can get good at that. You need 3 teams. So if I'm here trying to like the next the level of brain energy required to be able to play 3 teams to the level of like this peak 15 switches per rotation.
I don't think you need that, honestly.
Is ridiculous. Like if you're trying to do like, I don't know how your brain switches. Whereas if you play your game in the brain of get used to each character's like, and I feel like this is where a large majority of people will be at. Get used to each character's base rotation.
Yeah.
And then you played a full concerto swap. And like, I feel like that's going to be the comfortable zone for a lot of people.
Right.
Yes, there are these other techs. Like, for instance, the Havoc MC. I think the boys at Pridewind said it was Jeff that told them about the new strategy with the Havoc MC, where instead of doing like full rotations, you just switch in, you skill, you alt, which resets your skill, you skill again. You skill alt, skill heavy attack to enter Fallen Angel form.
Yes.
Alt skill echo out. Like you just like do this massive burst in a second and then dip. But to be able to do that for every burst rotation for that character, you have to do one swap without triggering outro on one of your other characters and use an extra skill in between to get your Fallen Angel meter up to be able to go into the form in that. So like you've got like
you're
like
buying
a 22
time. You're buying time.
You got like a 22-second rotation between burst windows.
Right.
And it's like a 10-second cooldown. So you got like a 2-second window to optimally play it, to swap back to that character, use a skill to get that extra resource, to then swap back out and come back. So it's like,
well, guys,
like,
so
it's like
the viewer has lost you halfway through that description,
dude,
bro.
Anyway, but that's the point I was trying to make. The shit is like crazy. So that's the other thing I always say to people when you're looking at like calculations and stuff. Just know that sometimes when they calc this stuff, that shit ain't what you're doing. Especially once again, if you're trying to get through a fight, and this is what I love about these types of things. If you get stuck on a fight, then you can really optimize these things. Yeah. But most people are still just going through overworld, farming bosses for echoes. You ain't worried about that. Like
my issue with that, and I'm not saying that whole entire thing that you just put out doesn't work from Zajef or Pridewind. My issue with that is I feel like their whole entire perspective on the game is still compromised, because they're trying to apply what they know from Genshin to this game. And I don't think, and this is just based off my own experience, based off what I've tested, I don't think Wuthering Waves is a one-to-one to Genshin's dynamic. And I think they're going into the game like it is a one-to-one dynamic when it's not. That's one way of playing it, but I don't know if that's the most optimal way of playing the game based off this 3-man rotation that I've been doing as I've been progressing through. Because the 3-man progression and some of these characters' kits, they're meant to be on the field longer than a pop swap. There's some characters that just aren't meant to get off the field immediately. But when you're a Genshin player who's been playing Genshin, you have Genshin brain rot. No disrespect. You're just going to think, oh, that character sucks because I can't swap them out. Well, that's just because that's how it is in Genshin. That doesn't mean that's how it works in Wuthering Waves. But they take that narrative and they say, yeah, character sucks because it doesn't work in Genshin, so that character sucks. I just don't understand how you can apply that and say that is it when the game's been out for 3 days. That's my whole entire argument.
And that's kind of like what I was telling you earlier about my like best team that I've been using on the phone.
Yeah.
Which is So it's
Go ahead.
Jian Shin with Jian. I use Mortefi as well, but it's the Jian Shin with Jian. So on phone, like you ain't seeing shit, you ain't dodging, you like
Nah.
it's so like phone is like impossible. But all I do is I run Jian Shin as the healer in my team with the healer set, and I have Jian as my main DPS. Now what Jian does, some people may not know if you don't have him. When he's in his ult form with the dragon, he basically gets the anti-interruption, which there's a couple things like the monkey when he claps you, like you can't anti-interrupt that. There's a few things you can't anti-interrupt,
Always, of course.
but most things you can. So all I do is I just go with Jian Shin, and I just use her shield, and because when she's channeling that, she gets the interruption immunity as well.
Yeah.
So you just channel that shit, get the shield, which is then going to protect you and heal you.
Yeah.
Swap to Jian, go dragon, and then you just spam left clicks. Don't even worry about anything. Just spam left clicks. There ain't no dodging.
Yeah.
Well, when I say left clicks, it's your thumb tapping. But it's the most phone friendly team because you get to ignore everything in the game and just delete stuff. It's so good.
But that's exactly my point. Like I assure you, there's going to be play styles that people are going to discover that will probably net just the same amount of damage, if not more, and you don't have to do nearly as much swapping. You know what I mean? And it's just like, but that's the kind of complexity that we're dealing with in Wuthering Waves. With Genshin Impact, their complexity has a ceiling. It's like you can only be so complex in Genshin. It's a swap game, and that's pretty much it. Pop, swap, pop, swap, pop, swap. That's pretty much all you can do. In Wuthering Waves, because you have shit where you could swap and then continually go back in with more characters, because certain characters have things like Mortefi. I'm gonna give you a clear-cut example.
Mortefi is the most boomer-friendly character. My only issue with Mortefi is that I can't macro E into left click along with basic attack.
Yeah,
because I have to spam 2 buttons at once instead of 1. Like I just go back to my WoW days. I'm like, as if I can't slash macro this shit.
I know, but dude, so he scales 2 times when his meter's up. Right. And then you put if you're running the Moonlight set like I run on, you're going to use the Echo so that he can get the bonus over. He then pops his ult. But when you use his skill, it says in the Forte circuit that if you basic attack with Mortefi, it's going to battery him. So it's like, it's telling you before you take Mortefi off the field, basic attack with him as well. Here's the thing. When you basic attack with Mortefi, one of the sequences of the basic attack is a cancel swap. So like basically the whole sequence is skill, ult, the Echo, basic attack sequence, and then you cancel swap them. That is field time.
You cancel out of the Echo.
No. You cancel out of his basic attack sequence. I gotta show it to you, Volk. But basically, there's a part of his sequence where he does this shit right here, right? If you cancel swap, he stays on the field doing that shit, and he's batterying himself as he's doing it.
I normally cancel swap out of the Echo, so the Echo's because his Echo, the Echo I use for him,
that's when you hold it down
forever.
That's when you hold it down, huh? It's that stupid ass Echo. When you hold it down, he does flame breath. But when you just tap it, he jumps in there and slams.
Yeah, but if you hold it for the flame breath, unless I'm imagining this wrong.
Yeah.
If you hold it for the flame breath and then you swap, you know how when you do the flame breath, it flies around.
Yeah.
If you swap while it's flying and doing the flame breath, it stays in one spot doing the flame breath on the boss.
Nah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's huge. I didn't know that. I didn't. So to me, every time I go to that flame breath, I'm gonna switch to another character and plunge because it's fucking cringe.
I've got to watch more DPS because maybe the plunge is better. I don't know, but yeah, like, that's just what I noticed, and I was like, oh, that was cool. I did that once, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, Volk, that's really fucking cool. You're putting me on game right there as well. But what I was saying is his kid.
Like just stop. I lost your mic for a sec there. Like you said, that's really cool, and then everything cut out.
My bad. I don't know why I did that.
You're right.
I was just gonna say, his kit does incentivize him to basic attack a bit to get the energy back. And then now that helps with rotation. So it's like, that's not a character where you can, I want to be clear, you can skill ult, get him out of there. But that's also a character where you can skill ult Echo and then basic attack, and then he's still fucking blasting while you've already swapped. It's like, that's that cool little dynamic. And then you come back to him and his ult's up because you did that little extra mech. That completely shuts down Genshin Impact's dynamic of swapping. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, there's more than one way to do these things.
The other thing with it, they do have, like, also, I feel like they try and put you on rails with like a bit of guided system on it, because like, you know, you've got your characters which are meant to be like, you know, you put the turtle set on them because they have a, 30-second buff.
Yeah.
You stack another 30-second buff with that. Cool. You got the other characters, then when you switch in, they get a 14-second buff. You put the 15-second buff set on them. Like, they kind of like put you on rails to guide you along the way, but you could definitely break the flow of it as well for like energy optimization and stuff like that if you want to get sweaty.
It's some variance, man. That's all I'm trying to say. And it's the kind of variance and complexity that you're not mastering in 3 days. It's why I can never take people serious when they like get out here like best most effective guy. And I'm like, bro, it's been out for 3 days. Let's simmer down here, guys. I get it. It's for content, but like then they try to like live by it, and I'm just like, okay, buddy, all right. It's the same shit they did with Jian Shin. That's why it drives me insane. They said Jian Shin sucked, and now everybody loves Jian Shin. It's just like, I thought she sucked. What happened there? Oh, I'll tell you what happened there. Nobody even took the time to test her properly, and now everybody's changing their mind. You know, and that's what I'm getting at.
The thing is, like, she's lower DPS in a team on optimized rotation, but like the thing that doesn't get taken into account is it is so hard to be dodging it. Like, this is my thing with Calcharo, and I'm not a massive Calcharo fan.
Yeah.
Like his playstyle feels. I feel like he's probably because I love Jian Shin so much.
Yeah.
And like, you know, when you're doing the charge and you like just feel like every pulse to that charge.
Yeah.
Like, I just love it. Calcharo to me, and others will probably disagree with me. It like when I'm using his rotation, it feels less responsive. Like it feels less impactful. Like when I'm doing it, I don't know why. And it's just like, and because he's got such a short burst window, I'm trying to do that plus dodge, and I don't have time to dodge. And then it's like I'm trying to play. It's just like Calcharo just gets too much for me because
like fanatic.
Yeah, and I'm just like, it's just not me. Like, like his playstyle is a massive thing. You got to play to what you enjoy as well.
Yeah.
So for me, like when I look into what I'm doing, like I'm not going to pick up Calcharo because I got Jian Shin as one of my 3 characters because she's just so cool. But then I'm like, okay, I got Jian. I run Havoc Rover as another DPS, and then I'll pick up Encore.
Yeah.
There's my 3 DPS for my 3 teams.
And then
I'm
you're ready
set to go. I don't need it. So you do have options that you can go through.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, we spent the longest amount of time talking about the combat. Guys, at the end of the day, I'm telling you, there's a lot to explore with the combat. The shit is insane.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we can literally sit here for the next 45 minutes touching into just so many different variances. Like, the intro, outro shit is just beautiful in its entirety. But I will say a lot of it revolves around, to conclude it, managing your Conserto meter, because the Conserto meter is how people are going to give buffs and do intro attacks to set up combos. It's a whole fucking, like, that's a whole nother energy. And I think about it. You don't just have energy for ults, you have energy for Conserto meters. Which is wild.
And Conserto, in my opinion, is often more important than the actual alt one because you miss out on so much momentum if you miss a Conserto, like if you're not using it.
38% heavy attack damage bonus for more Teffy down the drain if you don't fill up the Conserto.
Not even just that. Like when you swap in, it allows characters to use abilities that maybe it then increases their. Dude, what's the other gauge called? I have the Forte circuit. I hate that name.
I know. Same.
I always forget about that.
I think EX is what it should be. Is this EX? I think it should be EX meter.
Yeah, but like then you can get extra Forte on certain characters, which then helps them snowball everything. Like, so there is a lot to it and a lot of complexity. But I also think once you get to a point with a team that you're comfortable, and then you get to the point where, you know, you've got decent echoes.
Yeah.
And once again, that energy recharge and stuff, and then you've got everything fine-tuned.
Then you can
it's going to
master.
feel a lot better.
Correct.
Then it's going to feel a lot better because your rotations will be tight.
That's so fucking true. It's like these little puzzle pieces, and there's a magnetic that kind of brings them. The magnetic that's going to bring them is what you just bring. It's going to all start to come together, and you're like, okay, that's what it's supposed to feel like.
Yeah,
I completely agree, man. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about. If you got anything else, I'm game for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much done.
I think that was a good opener.
Else.
Yeah, man.
I think we covered the main points, the issues, the good things, combat, which was the big one.
Yeah.
Story.
And then other than that, I think we've been killing it as content creators. In terms of the momentum of the launch. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to talk about anything else. I think I'm good, man.
Yep, sick. Let's wrap it up there.
All right, hey guys, man, we are back. I promise. Listen, we're getting this on camera. I am going to start telling Volkin, yes, every time he wants to do a podcast, we're not going to say no to anything. We're going to be a lot more consistent. In fact, I'm trying to get the ball rolling on a couple of more episodes, giving you guys a little bit of precognition. We want to try and get a couple of guests on. Just know that if we don't get the guest on, it's not my fault or Volkin's. That's the guest being cucks at this point in time, right? And we are getting Gacha. No, but anyways, we're working to get some couple of episodes out. We're going to get back the ball rolling. But thanks for watching so much. We've been having a great time. Again, this is the Gacha Mates podcast, and we'll see you next time.